Welcome back. Today we're going to be making a one dish spicy sweet roasted pork loin with sweet potatoes. First thing I need to do is preheat my oven to 375 degrees. And while that's preheating, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my dish. And I'm going to use a 8x8 or 10x10 pan, spray it with nonstick spray. And then I'm going to add my pork loin, which I brined, and at the end of the video I'll tell you how I brine my pork and chicken. Makes for such tender meat. And then I'm going to add sweet potatoes. I have 4 cups of sweet potatoes. I'm going to add those, and then I'm going to make my sauce. And for the sauce, I'm going to do 1/2 cup of swerve brown sugar. I am diabetic, so I'm using that. If you don't want to use it, you can use just regular brown sugar. I'm going to add a teaspoon of minced garlic and about 3 to 4 tablespoons of sriracha. Alright, once I've got my sriracha added, I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper along with about 1 teaspoon of salt. I did not measure this, I just kind of eyeballed it, but you can certainly measure it if you'd like. And then I'm just going to kind of whisk that together a little bit. It's going to be really thick at this point. And then I'm going to add 1/2 cup of chicken broth. I did my own. I used 1/2 teaspoon of better than bouillon and 1/2 cup of water. And I'm going to whisk that together. And once that's whisked together, I'm going to pour that on top of my potatoes and pork loin. I am going to cover this and I'm going to bake it at 375 degrees for 35 minutes. By brining the meat, you're going to have extremely tender meat. So even though it's a little bit over on temperature wise, it's still going to be very tender. I'm just weird about pork, and it's just a personal thing. And once I verify the pork is cooked through, I'm going to make a sauce with the leftover sauce. I'm going to bring that to a boil, and then to that I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 1 tablespoon of water to make a slurry. And I'm just going to bring that to a real quick boil and let that thicken up, and it's going to make a nice glaze to serve over your pork and your potatoes. It is okay to eat because it has been boiled again and it is cooked through, so you don't have to worry about it being contaminating anything. And I'm just going to drizzle that over my pork, and that's it. It's quick, it's easy, it's one pan, and it is so very delicious. Thank you for watching. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this short video showing you how I made a spicy and sweet pork loin with sweet potatoes. And I have to tell you, this was so incredibly good. The pork was just fork tender. The potatoes were perfectly done. That glaze sauce was so good. Just enough spice for me. Definitely, if you can't take a lot of spice, I'd cut it back on the sriracha. But yeah, super easy. And what I did with the pork is I brined it. Now, I like to brine pork and chicken. I don't always brine chicken, but I always brine pork. And what I do is I take about 2 cups of really hot tap water, and I add a couple tablespoons of salt. I just generally eyeball it. And I stir that until the salt has dissolved, and then I'll add about 1 cup of ice to it, just to make sure the water is cooled off. And then I'll add pork chops, pork loin, things like that, and let it sit in the refrigerator 1 hour to 3 hours usually. You can definitely do it overnight. Usually I find a couple hours will work fine. If you're short on time, definitely 1 hour will work. But this will help make your meat very tender and very moist. And so that's what I do with pork, because I think pork can definitely be tough. And like I said, the cook temperature, I like to have pork about 165 to 170, which is a little bit higher than most people recommend, but I'm weird about pork, and I like pork to make sure it's completely cooked, but I don't want it tough. So anyhow, that's how I do that. But yeah, this was so incredibly easy. It was start to finish. It took me maybe 15 minutes to do, including peeling and cutting up the potatoes. Definitely really good. I'm looking forward to leftovers. And so yeah, I think that's about it for now. Not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to pork and potatoes. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is day 3 of Vlogmas, and I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. I put out content not very regularly, but I'm going to try. That's the goal for next year. We'll see. Hopefully 2022 will be better for me health-wise, and I can focus a little more on YouTube. But consider subscribing, hitting the like button, the notification bell, sharing this video with others. I post cooking and baking videos, cocktail reviews, alcohol reviews, randomness videos, and I have started earlier in the year, started sharing my childhood story, which I will continue on this month, doing some videos on that, and also my journey with Wegner's. So I think that's about it for now. I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget, not every day is good, but there's always something good in every day, and I'll see you next time.